All right, guys, getting into everything. Last show, you heard us talk about patch ops, and hopefully, Chris and I are not doing the video for this one. We don't drop out like we did. I think it'll actually save some of that bandwidth. So, with that, today's show is sponsored by patchops.com, which is an officially licensed and partnered company of Chris Peranto, KPI LLC, and Battleline Tactical. They make the Battleline Tactical PVC morale patches and vinyl decals. The quality of their products will blow you away. So do us a favor and go follow Patch Ops on Facebook and Twitter, Patch Operations on Instagram. Before I get into the promo code, people are loving the vinyl sticker of you that they did for pretty much in days after you said that.
I know. I hope people understand. This is why stuff like that, and then so I get questions. I thought you were a Christian. I thought, well, you know what? Christians sometimes have to fight too, and sometimes you have to have that switch. It goes all the way back to the Crusades, guys. That's it. The Crusades, and if you follow the Crusades, there's goods and bads. People have bad things, good things about that too. But Rangers, that's how we are. And honestly, that is something that just it came to my head, it popped in my head, and it's the God honest truth. There's a switch that you never want to have to turn on, but if you do turn it on, better watch out because I will shoot you in the face, literally. Just literally and figuratively. But God forbid I ever have to. None of us want to. But when I did it, and then they made the patch, and then the picture they found, I remember even taking that picture. I was like, that's cool. Why the hell didn't I think of that, right? So I say it. I'm the muse, so just give me credit, Marine. Give me credit, Patch Ops. I'm the muse for that. But it's
And
cool.
neither of us had any idea they were even doing that.
No, and that's cool. To me that doesn't bother me at all. There's probably guys out there. Wait a second, that's my likeness. I'm like, what the hell? That's clever as hell. You guys are on it. More power to you. High five. Let's give you a crisp 10 right now because it's incredible and they do good work. So
Yeah.
oh I was I think I texted to you, didn't I? I said, isn't this cool?
I,
When I saw it, or maybe you saw it before me. Somebody sent it to me. Was it you or my wife? And
no,
I
Tim sent it to me. That's how I saw it.
Oh, okay. Then maybe it was my wife that said it to me. I never see things first ever. So but yeah, it's awesome. And again, the other patches, the Battleline patches that we have, the Battleline Combatives patches, the Benny Glossop design. Benny's a tremendous guy too. I'd go over and follow Benny if you ever have a chance to on your Facebook, Instagram pages. They're incredible. They just do great work. And being a veteran, and doing good things as a former veteran Marine. I didn't say former Marine. I said former veteran. Can you be a former veteran? I don't think you can. Being a veteran,
Yeah, people used to, you know what? I think people hate when you say, at least I learned this from my experience. I think former is okay for most guys, but when I say ex-Marine, that sounds like you're like dishonorably discharged or something.
I'll just say I like to stir up the pot with them damn jarheads. I love them to death, but that's just me, and they know it. They know it. And most Rangers, when you get Rangers and Marines together, it's normally just it's constant. It's constant just jacking with each other. But when it comes right down to it, obviously, and we're having Tig on later. Of
Yep.
course, Tig's a Marine. We'll go to war together, obviously. So
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, I can say that with 100% accuracy. But getting back to the patch, outstanding, and again, Patch Ops does great works on a lot of the other patches they have. You should go look at their site. You should see all the different patches they have. Politically incorrect, but hey, what do you expect when you're a Marine, especially if you're a grunt infantry Marine? You're going to be politically incorrect, and I think we need a little political incorrectness nowadays too. So
Right on.
check them out; they're fantastic.
Yeah, for those who don't know what we're talking about, by the way, it's the sticker, and I think a patch is coming of Chris, and it says "The switch is on, motherfucker. I'm gonna shoot you in the face." It's a great sticker. I don't know if I would put it on my car. I don't know
uh,
if I it maybe some guys
I think
probably will. If you
I
do,
think
send it in.
Yeah, please send pictures of it. I guarantee you there's some regions that will definitely be on there with a plethora of other stickers of that same political incorrectness. Believe me.
Sure.
So, but if you do, yeah, definitely send it in. We'd love to see it. Put it on a card and send it in. We'll post it all
So
over the place.
yeah, and with that, Patch Ops is family owned and operated by Marine veteran Tim Hickey, who we're talking about, and his wife Michelle. Tim actually served in the same infantry unit as Tig, 3-7. We're going to have him on later. And their company focuses on supplying the highest quality of morale patches and vinyl decals on the market today at an affordable price. They have amazingly talented artists on staff that can take your custom ideas from concept to reality and will create something that will make everyone involved proud to display. Every aspect of this company makes them stand out in a crowd, so please go check them out at patchops.com. Grab some of the baddest patches and decals on the planet, or have them start making your very own designs today. Use code BATTLELINE for 15% off your next order on Patchops. Patchops, morale patches designed for the hardcore. That's patchops.com. Offer code BATTLELINE. Also, this episode is Ned. We've been talking about Ned for a while. They're a long-term sponsor of ours, and CBD has become extremely popular in the past year. And as the market becomes more saturated, it becomes more and more difficult to navigate and choose the right company and product. That's where Ned comes in. They produce the highest quality CBD extracted from the finest organic hemp plants from a small homestead in the bountiful farmland of Paonia, Colorado. Ned is a wellness brand offering science-backed and nature-based solutions that offer an alternative to prescription and over-the-counter drugs. No isolates or synthetic ingredients. Full transparency. Ned shares third-party lab results, who farms their products, their extraction process, all right there on their site. Their full-spectrum hemp oil only contains their CBD extract and non-GMO MCT oil. That's it. The taste is clean and pure. And we've talked about the benefits before: sleep aid, anti-inflammatory, natural pain reliever used to treat anxiety, post-traumatic stress, depression, a rich source of antioxidants. And then, of course, the more serious chronic conditions that some people are using them for, like epilepsy, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, of course, with with the blessing of their physician on those bigger issues. But yeah, man, they're doing great stuff. I know you said to me you've kind of converted back now to doing it before you go to bed.
Yeah, I change it up. I'll be honest with you. Whatever I'm feeling. When I was doing it in the mornings, I could feel a little anxiety coming on mid-afternoon. So I was like, well, let's switch it up. But things are back in order again with me, so I usually do it at night. What has impressed me, and with all you said, of course, I agree with that all 100%. It's tremendous as far as for anti-anxiety, but the thing that really stuck out with me is my inflammatory bowel disease, my ulcerative colitis. It's damn near cured that day. I mean, it's I feel so much better, so much more energy because I'm able to process food because I don't have that those inflamed guts that you have with inflammatory bowel disease. So if you have Crohn's disease or if you have ulcerative colitis, again, you do want to consult your physician because that is a serious condition. For those that have it, it is very serious and it's something that is incurable. You can't cure those diseases. But I'll say with experience from using Ned, and I've been on it now for quite a few months, it has done leaps and bounds for me and my health with my inflammatory bowel disease. And I'm able to eat foods I wasn't able to eat before. And I'm able to put on some muscle mass because I'm able to eat more food, because I used to be where I wasn't able to eat a ton because it would hurt my stomach so bad if I ate too much or ate certain foods. So it's been a godsend. And Paonia, Colorado, my grandfather farmed in that area. I know that is God's earth right there. Paonia, Western Colorado, you got Delta, you got Olathe. So those farms that they're using out there, I know are top notch because I grew up playing on those farms when my grandpa was farming out there in Delta, Colorado. So now dudes are tremendous, and they have a tremendous website too, like you said. Just go with them, go check them out, and I would highly advise if you're a veteran and you're suffering with some post-traumatic stress or other ailments, chronic ailments, I'd recommend you give them a try. Give them a try and see what happens. And the worst thing it can do is you say, well, it really didn't help me. But I'll bet you dollars to donuts it's going to, especially if you're able to manage it for about a month and get it into your system, just like I did. And I swear by it now. So it's awesome,
Absolutely.
awesome stuff.
Yeah, we're hearing great stuff from listeners of the show. And Ned will not get you high. Full spectrum hemp is a non-psychotropic. Ned products contain a minuscule amount of THC, less than 0.3% as allowed by law. If you want to check out Ned and try CBD, as many of our listeners have, we have a special offer for the Battleline audience. Go to helloned.com/Battleline or enter Battleline at checkout for 15% off your first order plus free shipping. That's HELLONED.com/Battleline to get 15% off your first order plus free shipping. Thank you, Ned. And as you guys know, every show of ours is also sponsored by Fort Scott Munitions. They're a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition that is designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standards of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states, as well as directly online through www.fortscottmunitions.com. Use exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order, only available to listeners of the Battleline Podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline Podcast. Let's get right into it.
On the microphones, pure and uncensored American straight talk. Never quit. You're locked and loaded with Chris Peranto and Ian Scotto. This is the Battleline Podcast.
Switch is on. Motherfucker, I'm going to shoot you in the face.
The switch is on. By the way, we finally have a catchphrase. 20 episodes in, we've done it.
Oh, yeah.
This is episode 22. Yeah, we're gonna say the switch is on every episode. It just works.
That's
So
fine, man.
we have Tig coming on, who I'm sure that this audience has long anticipated. I'm really excited to talk to him because I am going to ask. I am still not sure if I have met Tig. I have definitely never had like a full-blown conversation with the guy. And I'm excited to hear his whole background. I know 13 hours, but I don't know his whole story as a Marine and all that great stuff.
Yeah, I would, and with me, I would, and people out there, I think they do need to hear his background as far as being a Marine, but also his working way up into the GRS community. He wasn't with GRS at the beginning. He had to go a different route than I did because his background as far as being qualifying for global response staff, which is what we were overseas during that night in Benghazi. We're called global response staff. He had to take a different route because his time in service with the military didn't include enough special operations time. So he had to go do a different route and go through a static side. So he had to actually go do base or force protection and work his way up. And it took him a little bit longer to get into GRS. And honestly, I don't know all of that story. So some of the stuff would be news to me. And it's good for people to hear that because it shows that Tig didn't have that quit attitude. He took that drive. He still wanted to reach up to the GRS side of the house and not stay on the static side, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's a next step up, and it's a little bit more pay as well, which is a definite benefit. But he did it the hard way. He did it. He had to work in a different facet and prove himself to be capable. So GRS would come and say, that's what happens every once in a while. We'll be short on guys, and we'll be like, hey, we don't have time to go get a guy that needs another security clearance. Let's go see who's doing very, very well and excelling in the static side of the house. And we'd pick a couple and we'd throw them in a tryout. Like, okay, guys, come on, you're coming and trying out, and you either sink or swim. And obviously he swam, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I'd love to hear even just his take on working at Blackwater and stuff, because I know, you've talked about this before, I believe, but depending on what era of Blackwater, I've heard excellent things and I've heard horror stories from guys.
Yeah, well, when it was early on, I think all the companies early on whether it was triple canopy when the former unit guy Lee Van Arsdale was running them, they were top notch. MVM was another one I think that were top notch between the 2003, 2004 years, and they kind of fell out. DynCorp was another one from the Kosovo days. I mean, that's old school, but everybody kind of started to fall off, and their not performance, just the personnel they were having. In my opinion, and I was part of all of that. I was in it. I'm not saying from an outside view. I'm saying from an on the ground zero point of view. I just think right around 2005, 2006, personnel started to drop a little bit. And that's because there's only so many special operations guys you can grab to come in and work. And then you have to start looking at other avenues because you have to fill slots within these companies. And you can't grab a guy that has 6 years special operations experience in 2006 because they're either all of them are already working, or they went back into the service and they're back with their particular unit. So I would say there was a drop in the quality of personnel. Not every, but overall, there's still some great guys that came out from 2006 till now. There's still fantastic guys coming out, but overall, I do feel that way, and that's just because the government required so many more guys that the contracting companies couldn't hold the standards that when I first went in, which is you had to have 6 years prior special operations experience before you could even apply for triple canopy, Blackwater, DynCorp. And then to 2006, 2007, it was, well, did you drive down Biop once? Which Biop's the road in Baghdad, the airport road. Did you drive down Route Irish one time? Okay, you qualify. It just is what it is. I'm not knocking guys because there's some great guys out there that don't have special operations experience, and there's some dirt bags that do. But overall, and you know what, you know where you're laughing. You know a couple too. But overall, when you are looking at performance, yes, overall the guys with special operations experience are going to be a little bit better. They are, just because of the training and the money that's put in, that they've been given the opportunities to practice and train in comparison to a guy from the National Guard or a guy from the sheriff's department with a population of 15. It's just how it is. I mean, that's just, you're giving more opportunity to improve yourself and get better, and that's just how it was. So but I know I'm going down a rabbit hole a little bit, but
no. I think the audience is fascinated by this type of stuff, and I really want to hear both of your perspectives on it, especially. Eric Prince has become a pretty infamous guy, and he was the CEO.
He had, you know what, Eric's I do like Eric. He's a little different. When I wasn't working overseas, I did a couple contracts where I come back and actually he had threats against his family, and I ran a detail that protected him and his family in between my GRS.
I'm learning new things, man. I had no idea of that.
I got a little bit of experience doing some security here and there. It's not, everybody thinks that.
I know.
He was just in Benghazi. That's all he did. Well, no, I did a little bit more over that 11 years. But Eric's heart is always in the right place. He is a God-fearing man. He does believe in his family. I know if he's had his ups and downs with, I think he's been divorced twice, but I've been divorced twice myself. I'm not going to knock a guy for that, as long as he recognizes what he's doing wrong, if he's doing things wrong, and corrects it. But Eric, I really do believe he's a patriot. I think he feels he's a patriot. His heart was in the right place with the guys. When Blackwater first started, I really felt like he believed and that Blackwater was a viable option to help with fight the global war on terror, which I do believe it was initially as well. So I got nothing to say bad about Eric. Eric took care of a lot of guys. He took care of a lot of guys at Blackwater, and I do believe he was trying to get Blackwater into the mix to take a lot of the burden off the Department of Defense. And then, then it became a political sideshow, and he was thrown under the bus. I do believe that he was within our own government thrown under the bus. And like any guy, I'd probably do the same thing, is be like, hey, here's the finger, to hell with you guys. I'm out. I'm done. If you don't want my help, I'm out. And now, again, I haven't talked to him in years, but I think if Eric and I saw each other, and I'm not going to speak for him, but I know if I saw him, I could say hi and say, hey, what's up, dude? Give him a hug and say, hope you're doing well. And then we go on our way, and because I got no ill wills against him. He he did great things. And initially, Blackwater, just like Triple Canopy and Lee Van Arsdale, I have a lot of respect for Triple Canopy and Lee Van Arsdale time too. They really did the right thing, and their heart's in the right place. They just got mixed in when politicians came involved, and both of them said, this isn't what I want to do, and they both left. So no, Eric, I got nothing bad to say about Eric at all. I think he's a patriot. He really feels that way. He's just a little bit he was raised his father was the one that invented the little mirror that you have in the visors. He grew up in Michigan.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, Henry Ford is at Grand Rapids, Michigan, or Dearborn, or something like that. That's what his dad invented. The mirror. That's where the money came from. That little mirror in the visor. That's where the princes made their millions of dollars. And then, of course, within the family, they're with the Amway family. They're married in with the Amway family.
Okay.
Amway. There's no who the Amway people are, right? The guys. That
of course.
Yeah. So, but it sometimes I'll give you an example. We went out jogging. We're going out jogging one morning. I was his protector. He liked to run. He's in incredible shape. I'm not going to knock myself. If you guys hate me for it, I'm in really good shape too.
Where are the pictures? What magazine was it again? If people want to see the incredible shape you're in.
Ballistic.
That's right, Ballistic magazine.
But I was the only one that would go out and run with him in the mornings because he did. He was a good runner. I was a good runner. I was the only one I think could probably keep up with him too on the detail. But I remember we're out there running at one of his farms. He had one of his areas outside. We go trail running together. It was great. It was a good time. It was a great time running out with him. And him and I could talk. He was a SEAL, I was a Ranger, and I think we saw each other as peers more than I'm his protectee. You're my principal. We didn't look at it that way, but he did have a different sense of humor because he had an insulate pad that we carry. Insulate pad is stuff that we used to get in the military. It's a pad that you put on the ground when you're out humping around in the woods, or you're going in urban environments, because you don't want to sleep on concrete or the ground because that sucks the heat right out of you. That's what makes you cold. So having an insulate pad, something styrofoam, anything that could just give you that little bit of space if you have to lay on the ground, is going to keep your body heat way up. Well, in the Ranger Battalion, we call it puss pads. It's a puss pad because we didn't use them. We figured if you're going to need it, you're a puss. So well, he had one in his garage, and I said, "So you got a puss pad?" And I remember he looked at me like, "What did you call?" He was angry. He's like, "What did you call me?" And I'm like, Eric, hey, we call that a puss pad Ranger Battalion. I guess that's not been filtered down to the teams yet, the SEAL teams yet, has it? And it was that sort of thing that he was kind of like the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy, who's Drax. He takes everything literal. Everything you say, he takes literally until you explain it to him. And he's like, "Oh, it's a joke. Okay, that's funny. I get it." So that's just how his personality was. But as long as you got used to it, and that it could have created a toxic environment with me and him. Because I am completely not literal. I joke all the time. Obviously,
we're both that way.
Yeah, I'm like the little fox, the little raccoon on Guardians of the Galaxy, or Star-Lord. He's like Drax, so I got to kind of explain it to him whenever I was telling a joke. But when he realized I wasn't making fun of him whenever I tell a joke, and they got used to my personality and I got used to his personality. No, it was great, but really, what really to me, what I admired is that he's a God-fearing man. He is a Christian, and that's important. And I really do. Again, money or not, whether he has millions and millions of dollars or not, I don't care. His heart was in the right place with Blackwater when he built it and started that thing, and he did take care of a lot of contractors that would have been flailing out there if he wouldn't have started Blackwater, and there wouldn't have been an Eric Prince behind the Blackwater scene. They just, it just got too big, and then the government came in, and that's when it went to shit. And he walked away, from it. And I'll be honest, I said it before, I probably would have done the same thing, just like walk away, give him the finger, saying, "Okay, I told you so, assholes. It's your shit show now," and leave. So that's my one story out there running with him, and we'll call it the Eric Prince puss pad story.
It's a good story, man, and I'm looking forward to hearing Tig's perspective on all that. Hopefully we can get into it. So we're gonna dial up Tig right now, but before we do, once again, Fort Scott Munitions is doing great business right now. God bless. They're a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition that is designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states, as well as scottmunitions.com, FORTSCOTTMUNITIONS.com. They really support what we do, so we support them, and it's what you use, Chris, on every Battleline tactical course.
Yeah, and especially if we ever get to have one again.
I know.
If all
It's
the states,
crazy, man.
well, and for all those listening out there, our Indiana course coming at the end of April. Well, the Indiana state governor, Indiana, shut Indiana down now, so we're going to have to push that course now too. But that being said, the ranges here in Omaha are still open under certain restrictions, but they still are open. And I go and train and I go shoot, and that's what I use. Fort Scott Munitions. It's the best stuff out there. 5.56. There's a blackout 7.62x39. The Creedmoor that's out there, 6.5 Creedmoor, and of course the 9mm. Home defense, guys. I know people are out there buying. Stop panic buying ammo. You don't need to stock up on ammo that much, guys. We're not going to have another Red Dawn. I don't see that happening down the road. But if you want to buy ammo and you're out there, and a lot of you guys out there, yeah, you're out there hunting and providing for your family now. Back to the old school way of doing things, and also, yeah, home defense. Get that Fort Scott Munitions, because you guys, it's the best out there. Tumble on impact. It's gonna knock down, and I'll say it. If you don't want to say it, you say stop the threat. I'm gonna say it's gonna kill whatever you're shooting at. And if that's out there, you're providing for your family, going out deer hunting, or if you have an intruder in your home that's trying to get after your kids. And I'm being realistic, guys. I am just telling you how it is. That's what you want. You want something that's gonna stop. And stop and kill whatever you're trying to get at in a responsible way. We're not telling mass shooters go buy Fort Scott Munitions. Don't do that. We're not saying that. But you want ammo, you want stuff that's going to perform at the top level that you need it to perform at. You go for Fort Scott Munitions. And the family, again, we say it every week, the family, the Kraft family, and Robbie out there, and everybody working out there, Preston Church. Fantastic group of guys. Caleb, all these guys they're just family people that are trying to provide, and they're trying to keep up with orders right now, going out of their minds. They're fantastic people. So please support them.
Well said. Use exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order. Only available to listeners of the Battleline Podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline Podcast. You heard us just speak about Patch Ops. Once again, this show is sponsored by PatchOps.com, which is an officially licensed partner company of Chris Peranto, KPI LLC, and Battleline Tactical. They make the Battleline Tactical PVC morale patches and vinyl decals. The quality of their products, it's going to blow you away. So do us a favor and go follow Patch Ops on Facebook and on Twitter, Patch Operations on Instagram. Patch Ops is a family-owned and operated business by Marine veteran Tim Hickey and his wife, Michelle. Tim actually served with, who we're about to have on in just seconds, the same infantry unit as TIG, 3-7, and their company focuses on supplying the highest quality of morale patches and vinyl decals on the market today at an affordable price. They have amazingly talented artists on staff that can take your custom ideas from concept to reality. That's any idea you have. And they'll create something that will make everyone involved proud to display. Every aspect of this company makes them stand out in a crowd, so please go check them out at patchops.com. Grab some of the baddest patches and decals on the planet, or have them start making your very own designs today. Use code BATTLELINE for 15% off your next order on patchops.com. Patch Ops, morale patches designed for the hardcore. With that, let's get Tig on. Hey, Tig, you hear us?
What's up,
Nope.
you ugly fuck? What's up, fucker?
Is that Hillary Clinton on the line?
Dude, it's your mom. Your mom's Hillary Clinton.
Pretty close.
You don't have to do video if you want. I don't want to see your ugly ass face.
It's completely up to you, man. We're just we figured like saving bandwidth because since we're recording through the app, that's why we don't have it on. But yeah, it's up to you, man. Is everything good? Are you good to go on your end?
No, I'm good.
Awesome. All right, so I'll give Tig an intro. We'll get right into everything. Cool. Yeah, you still hear us, right, Chris?
Yeah, no, I got you, man.
All right.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Cool. So joining us for the first time on the podcast, very excited to have on John Tiegen, Marine Sergeant and security contractor for Blackwater, the CIA, etc. You really know him best from 13 Hours, multiple deployments, played by Dominic Famusa in the film itself. John Tiegen, or Tiegen.com, or it's Tiegen, John?
Tiegen, yep.
Yeah, JohnTiegen.com, Tiegen.com. Before we get into your whole background, I have a pretty self-indulgent question to ask because it's bothering me. I still don't remember if I ever got a chance to meet you because my first time meeting Chris was Chris's first appearance on the Will Cow Majority when I was working at Sirius XM, and I know one of the other guys was with him, and I can't put my finger on it if it was you.
Man, that hurts telling me he looks like Oz. Man, I don't know if I take that, Tig.
Tig, was it you or it was Oz?
I have no idea.
Really?
That's what I told myself. Shit, I don't know either. It was one of them blonde hairs fuckers. I don't know which one it was.
I really don't remember because Chris was just the guy that I stayed in touch with, and fast forward all these years later, and we're doing this. But I'm really excited to get in your background. And before we brought you on, we were saying I'd love to hear about your background just as a Marine, joining the Marines. And Chris himself was saying he never got to hear a lot of those stories. So I think a lot of our audience likely has never heard those stories. So I'd love to hear your perspective on that and what inspired you to go that route.
Yeah, bro, we talk enough about Benghazi. People have heard enough about that, man. I really think people would like to hear about your Marine background, and so would I. And granted, I hate your face, but I still would love to hear conspiracy. It. It's all conspiracy as a Marine?
No, Benghazi.
I already said I'd choke out that guy and got visited by the Secret Service for saying that. So I think we're clear on that now. But no, bro, I think people would like to. If you're willing to talk about it, it's up to you.
Originally I was going to join the Army originally, but then I realized how easy it was, and since
I knew that was coming.
I've already heard it. Let's see. Do you hear me chuckling? It's like an old joke. I already heard the drum roll. I've heard it like 8 million times. But keep going, fucker.
They took my wife in, so you got to feel for him. But
well, your wife's tough for you. Okay, we're gonna stop. I can already see us going down the hole. It's gonna be an hour of me and him picking at each other. But seriously though, your wife is tougher than you. But continue. No, keep going. I can see that.
But she's taller than you.
Well, wife's tougher than most guys I know.
No, I'm saying she's taller than you.
Well, that's because I'm getting old, man. Everybody shrinks a little bit. I used to be 6'5". What are you, like 6 foot now?
No, that was your actor who was 6'5".
Yeah, so was all of our actors were 6'5", I think, except for Mark's guy.
The funniest one was Boone's though.
Hey guys, Boone's not a 6'4" white guy. Just want to let everybody out there know.
He's pretty close though, right?
He is. He's like 5'3", black guy that looks like he's Polynesian and Mexican. There you go.
It's freaking hilarious when people see who he is.
But I know Tig. We got in the Marines. We talked about 3-7, and I didn't know you wanted to go in the Army. I had no idea. Was that just jab? Was that just a jab? Was that another jab?
No, actually, I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to fly the Apache. But then my eyes went south on me, and I couldn't see 10 feet in front of my face. And I think now you can fly because you can get corrective.
You can get LASIK.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Once I said that, I was like, screw it. I'll just be a grunt. And so saw the movie Full Metal Jacket, and that was it. I'm going to the Marine Corps.
That's awesome, man. I didn't know that. Can you imagine Tig flying, dude? He'd be crashing shit left and right. Just, hey, where's my new helicopter? Fuck it, I'm gonna go run this in the mountain. Where's my new helicopter?
No, I've flown the planes before. I've done that, but
What?
they wouldn't let me get my pilot license because I have a sleep apnea.
Holy shit, that's all. Wait, you want to be a pilot? No, you have terrible eyes and you fall asleep.
Well, I don't fall asleep, but I have sleep apnea.
Sleep
So,
apnea. Do you have to wear one of those machines?
yep.
Oh man, I wouldn't want that. That's a coronavirus machine right there.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you wouldn't have known that because I would just think you guys are in such close quarters, during Benghazi that you probably would know each other's sleeping
No,
habits.
he was snuggling with Jack. I was snuggling
Yep.
with Ben. No, he was him and Jack were spooning 24/7. Don't let that curtain that was in the movie. That really wasn't there in real
Well,
life. Actually, they pushed
actually
your
had
beds
wall
together.
pockets that divided us.
Dude, you guys had pushed your beds together. Shut up.
Well, actually, you and Boone didn't push you. You actually just slept in the same bed.
You're right. Well, that's because we're little. We're little guys. I'm 5'7". He's
And that's what
5'2".
she said.
There's the drum roll.
So, I was going to ask as well, Tig, because before we brought you on, we were kind of talking about how both you guys have experience with Blackwater. And like I said in the intro, I've heard great things, kind of as Chris says about Blackwater. I've heard people who have had terrible experiences with Blackwater. How would you describe your whole background there?
I don't think people had terrible experience with Blackwater probably because they sucked as contractors. But I had no issues with them. In the beginning, it was the pay kind of sucked, but it was, hell, they started off with the Hooter girls that would run the office. So, the pay was whatever. You get back pay, every now and then you get about 50 grand deposited in your account. You're like, what the hell this come from?
What was that for? Yeah.
So you'd have to call them. You have to call and say, hey, you sent me this, so you have to send them, But other than that, working for Blackwater it was a good company. They saved that company saved thousands of lives. Lives that this country has no clue. That including military guys. They would fly into places where the military wouldn't go in, or they didn't have the resources to go in and help their own people. And Blackwater guys, they would, fly to Little Birds. Hell, there's actually video footage of some of them. Where was that one at?
Najaf.
Najaf, yeah. The rooftop. Yeah. It wasn't for Blackwater. All those freaking military guys probably got wasted. So
that was a bit. We just didn't have any. We had no oversight. And I was right around 0304. No, we would supplement. I'd actually supplement military units if they were short. They'd just come and ask. But it's just when the Department of State really got involved and it stopped being CPA. And they started putting these regulations on. Then you had guys in the office that really shouldn't have been in the office.
Yeah.
That's when it was just like, hey, well, we got more rules now. Well, wait a second. These rules that you're having aren't going to save people's lives. Just going to make it harder for us to work. Well, big shock. There's a government for you. And to me, you could just see it just start to spiral down. But I agree with Tig. I did enjoy when you weren't getting paid. And you're like, wait a second, where's my pay? And then all of a sudden, wham! There's a chunk. You're like, where'd that come from? Oh, we're getting your back paid. And the good thing about that at times that when the back pay and some of the contracts that we're doing too is that they'd be short during Christmas breaks or short during certain holidays. And man, I tell you, there was some the bonuses that they would give you to stay during your leave. It was almost impossible to turn it down.
Yeah, it was.
It was, but he's right on the late pay. But it would eventually come.
Yeah.
And it would come with a vengeance. Just like, wow, like holy shit! You were tempted to go buy a new Maserati with it. And some of the guys did.
Freaking ATM. Everybody come looking at your house. What are you doing?
It was mad. I had one guy on my team, Benicio. I loved him. He was an awesome dude. Amsterdam every leave, and he would blow. He was high roller. He would blow, and he was a single guy in his 20s. I think he did 4 years with. Is either with it wasn't Raiders at the time, but it was Force Recon or I don't know. Or maybe been I know it was an op unit. Maybe it was the PJs. I don't know who it was, but bottom line is he would take that money. Youngster, can you imagine a 27-year-old with 75 grand in his pocket has leave? Let's see. Do I go home or do I go to Amsterdam and just basically spend all my money on Dom Perignon and debauchery. And
Red light
that's that's what guys would do. That's what single guys would do. And a lot of those guys are, I'm sure they're hating it. Well, didn't hate it then, but I'm sure now they're like, man, I wish we would have put some money away. But I don't know. If I didn't have a family and a wife and stuff to support at the time, I might have done the same thing. It's just, it was some mad, crazy, Wild West days when you were working, and then when you weren't working, just because of the money and because of the oversight. But I agree with Tig. Lives were saved because we didn't have a ton of rules. We didn't have to adhere to all the bullshit rules that they established now, just so some State Department or some Department of Defense, '06 or CIS level individual can say they implemented a new rule, and it saved lives. But now guys are hamstrung, and you can even see it in Benghazi with them telling us not to go because of freaking rules. Stupidest thing in the world. Luckily for us, I can speak for Tig. I can't speak for the other guys, but I can speak for Tig, I think, and me and him the same way. We kind of like, hey, F you and your damn rules. He just does it differently. Well, no, in Benghazi, we basically did it the same way. Now we do it a little differently. But it was like, F you, we're going.
Yep.
So, yeah. Anyway, no, that's I'm getting flashbacks of Blackwater back in the good old days, because it was the good old days. It was fun, and we had a blast. At least I did. You did you? I mean, I don't know. Did you have a blast? I had fun. I had a kick in the pants during those early days.
I definitely wasn't home much.
Yeah, it was hard to come. It was hard to come home because you're having fun, and
plus for a couple of years, me and the wife are both contractors, so she wasn't home anyway. So I was like,
oh, that's right.
Yep.
Oh no, tell people about that. But tell people about Margaret and what she was doing, man. And if people that don't know Margaret, yeah, she will whoop your ass. If you put her and my wife together, they could probably take on. They'd kick a lot of guys' asses.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, no, we actually both started contracting in 2003 out of Kuwait with a company called CSA. It's kind of like a KBR of Halliburton.
Yep.
And I did it for about a year. Then I found out about Blackwater. Actually, well, there's a bunch of companies over there, 2003, 2004 that were kind of fly-by-nights. And the one that really kind of gave the contractors really bad names. They're the one going out there doing the Wild Wild West bull crap.
Who was a couple of them, like they were crazy. Custer Battles, I think.
Yeah,
it was,
Custer Battles was really bad.
The one that got hammered on BIOP. Gosh, they were a British company. I can't remember their name, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember their damn names.
But yeah, I mean, so filtering out through those, trying to find the right company to go with, and end up finding Blackwater. And 04, actually late 04, I finally got on with them, and the wife, she stayed in Kuwait and worked there for another 2 years, I want to say, while I was doing contracting work. So pretty much 2 years straight, almost 3 years straight, we were both overseas the whole entire time. And then she kind of came back home, and I just kind of continued. Hell, I think we were doing 2 weeks, going for 2 weeks and turn around and go right back, for 3-4 months. And, I think out of the 10 years contracting, I think close to 7 years I spent overseas.
Yeah, it was just too hard to come home until they started to make us on the GRS side. When they said, like, yeah, you guys can't stay. You have to come home. Yeah.
Too many burnt out.
Did you guys ever cross paths prior to Benghazi while you were contracting?
Yeah, I think you did. You did AOB at the Ariana, didn't you? Weren't you there with sometime when I was? Because I think we did, like, it was just in past. We didn't know each other, but I could have swore that you were. Didn't you at Kabul?
Yeah, I think we worked at Kabul. I don't think we ever did anything together, but I think we worked there at the same time.
And that was it. And guys, for those that I was talking about before Tig came on, that's why I said Tig did it the hard way to come on to GRS, and we'll talk about it. But that's where Kabul, he was doing the static, the AOB stuff, which was static for CIA facilities. And yeah, that's where I swear we had worked together, because I was doing GRS and he was doing static stuff. And then I remember we were short on guys, and I wasn't at a high enough level to pick guys to come over, but I knew we were short on guys, and that's when we started to grab. I mean, there was a discussion about it within the conference room, the team room we had there in Kabul. It was like, well, let's get static guys, because they already have a clearance, then we don't have to wait. And you guys, I remember the Kabul C1. did pretty good evals, and a lot of guys didn't like him, but he at least had paperwork on everybody, so we could look at the paperwork. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Because I want people to know that you busted your ass to get over to GRS. You did it the hard way.
Yeah, weasel my way in.
Yeah, some guys did well. Okay, there is some guys that did weasel their way in if they knew the right contracting officer within a company. Yeah, brother, I didn't see you being a weasel. I know some weasels. You're an asshole, but you're not a weasel. There's a difference.
I think they kind of also wanted me because I was like every time I'd come back, I'd go up and I'd talk to them. I say, "Here's my resume. Here's my resume."
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, that shit.
I think you got what was it, Saks or whatever seat was, man. They're like, yeah, here's a guy. But but you also, that being said too, you did have
Grundle.
Grundle. Oh my goodness!
He's the one. He's like, all right, we're gonna finally give you a shot because we're short. If you make it, you make it. If you don't, leave us the fuck alone.
and that's how it was. It's like, here's your shot, dude. You want it? You got your good evals. Let's do it, Grundle. Yeah, God bless him, Grundle, and Grundle actually passed away a few years ago, natural causes. But yeah, I remember. I haven't heard that name forever. Grundle was a former DevGru guy, and he was a tremendous contractor. Then he went to the blue side of the house, became a staffer, and yeah, he ran the show there. He loved that. He loved it at Ariana there. Him and Sachs did a fantastic job in Brutus. So I didn't know Grundle was the one that picked you though. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Where did you end up going when you did your vetting? Where was it at? Did you go through TDC or did they put you through Victory or something like that?
It was the long one.
You did through the Victory. Did you go through the one at Blackwater? You did through Blackwater. Yeah. That was back in the day, Ian, we had like different vetting courses. You could go through the company one, which is called Victory. And actually I ran and taught that one. That was like a 3-week course, or you could go through the TDC one, which was a week, but here's your course of fire, go shoot it. You don't make it, you're done. And I think both were good. Both vetted people correctly. And man, that 3-week one, that was at Moyock the whole time, or did you end up having to go somewhere else?
No, it was Moyock the whole entire time.
Driving too? Did the driving at Moyock as well?
Moyock was the driving too. Yep.
Because we had built the driving track then, so you went at that. Yeah.
I think the only thing we traveled for was the freaking hand-to-hand combat crap.
Oh, you went to Easton. Did you go to Dieter's? Yeah, you went to Dieter's place. Yeah,
I actually enjoyed that. I mean, it was fun, especially the hooded box drill.
Yeah, I did too. I actually became certified as a level 1 instructor there and went through their forging there at Dieter's, and a lot of guys hated it. I just took it for, and that's the thing about Tig.
It's a tool, man. It's just another tool in the toolbox.
It's just another tool. That's the guys that did well. And Tig is, again, much as he's an asshole, he still would always take things. He would always learn, and that's the guys you wanted. You wanted guys that, I know my martial art's better than your martial art. Well, who gives a shit? Just teach me it, whatever. And yeah, the hooded box. That was, hey, tell people about your best experience explain what the hooded box is, and then tell them what your best experience was with the hooded box, because I had fun doing that too.
Oh man, well actually the best experience was watching people, but so they put you in a room. It depends on what I would say. Let's say like I would do 15 by 15 foot room. Yeah. We have one door onto your I was trying to remember it. On your immediate left was one of the rooms. So on your immediate left, but then you put you in a box. So they had it taped off, and it was just about, well, I don't know, about 2 foot by 2 foot box.
Yeah, it was real, just so you could stand and maybe pivot around. But it was
real. You had to protect your box. So your box was your goal. And
it's your social distancing spaces, guys. Yeah. It's your social distancing spaces.
You're gonna keep away from your box. But then they would drop a hood over you, play a bunch of loud music, and of course you got a protective headgear on so people can punch you in the face. Or even butt stroke. I mean, it was fun. But so they would play music, people would be moving around, so you couldn't hear what they were doing, and then they would flip the hood up, and you had to assess what was going on in front of you within seconds. I mean, some dude might be getting ready to pop you like right when the hood comes up, and if you ain't ready for it, he's gonna get you. You might have to draw your gun and engage, but again, you had like split second to decide what you're going to do. And a couple of guys, every time they got to watch them, the hood would come up and they would just overreact or escalate the situation, and guess what? They didn't make it.
Like example would be like a guy, instead his hand would be out to have you shake his hand, but you overreact and the dude would get jack him in the face, and you fail that too. The thing is, you don't pass. You have to assess the situation. Right when that hood comes up, they get your emotions and your adrenaline going 100 miles an hour because you can't see. But just like Tick's saying, there's people moving around. You can hear things going on. You're already playing mind games with yourself, so you're already amped up. And then then your hood comes up, and there could be a guy, like I said, just reach his hand out for you to shake it. And I did say I've seen guys overreact because you get to watch each other on film, so you get to shame each other too. So you get the shaming portion too. So, and I've never seen a guy just cold cock a dude when he was going to shake his hand. But that is also part of the vetting, is that if you do that, we laugh about it, but guess what? That's a black mark against you, and you may not pass the course because you were too aggressive. So it just you had, but yeah, I remember those.
I have to say, guys, it's interesting to hear this because, with my experience of just interviewing different guys in the community, apparently the Navy SEALs have the same thing. I've heard this exact same story from Navy SEALs.
I'll be honest, brother. The Dieter stuff, if you go back, Dwayne Dieter, it was developed specifically with Dieter and DevGru, SEAL Team 6. And so that's where also the hide carry and some of these other things come up. It was Tick's talking about it. When was it? 2006 you went through, brother? 2007, or was it later?
2007.
Early. I went through in early 2000s myself. So it's been going on for years. And if you ever, he doesn't sponsor the podcast, but if you ever want to do any of this, he's probably not open right now, but get out to Eastern Maryland and go through. He has open enrollment courses. Go do the CQD stuff, close quarter defense, and if anything, you learn and you have fun. And that hooded box, it really does. I don't think it really teaches.
Go
ahead. No,
I think
go ahead.
It's a lot about yourself, and then plus you get to sit down and you get to watch what you did, because you're thinking in front of you in your head after you're done. Okay, this is what I did. And then you go watch the video, and it's totally opposite.
That's crazy. Who are you saying, Chris, would instruct this if the classes were open?
Yeah, if you want to. Actually, I sent Dave Barrera. I sent you one of his cards, brother.
Gotcha. No, because I was wondering if maybe it was like Matt Larson or something, because I'm familiar with him and I know he's.
Matt's in the Ranger Regiment. No, he's a go work with Matt too, but that's completely separate. There's a competition within the special operations community with, like I said, my kung fu is better than your kung fu sort of thing. And because CQD was really originated within the SEAL teams, and then Dwayne Dwayne has no military experience, so that gives him a hit sometimes on guys like, but Dwayne Dieter, he's the one that runs CQD.
Gotcha.
But again, with it, Dave Barrera's a great guy. You have Darren. What was Darren's? Darren's a former SEAL team guy. You've got guys with military experience that are as instructors. I was one of the instructors that taught level 1 at Blackwater when we had a detachment at Blackwater. So but I'm like Tig, some of the shit was terrible. I wouldn't use it, but
that's why, by the way, this is when you say the whole, my martial arts is better than yours. That's why I can't wait to have Jim West on, because to me, he is like the ultimate with that. There's no one I've met in my life who likes to fight and talk fighting more than Jim West. And it's so crazy when I hear, because I hear you guys sometimes talk about like this darker side of you. And he couldn't be a nicer guy, the guy that I know today. And it has to do with that flipping the switch thing.
Well, and like I said, Tig and I give each other shit. When we talk, do our speeches, we make fun of each other, especially if we're on the stage at the same time. But when it comes right down to it, Tig's the nicest guy in the world, but he's got that switch too. We all have that switch. You can't have that switch on all the time though, or you'll burn out and you'll kill yourself. Yeah, you will. You'll kill yourself. You'll get in domestic violence. You'll start doing drugs, or you become an alcoholic. So you have to be able to turn that switch off, and it's hard to find. I mean, every day I know where my switch is, but I still have to consciously sometimes turn it off. The turning it on is easy. It's turning it off that's hard. That's more difficult. It's not hard. It's just more difficult. But that's what I said with the stuff with Tig and the CQD stuff. It was great, and I love doing it. I love doing the Aikido. I love doing martial blade concepts. I love doing the jujitsu stuff. I love doing just combatives when Larson took over and Rangers took over the combative stuff within the Army. I love doing all that. I got something from all of it. And then there's some shit that I wouldn't use to save my life even because it wouldn't work. But
Nope.
that's the beauty of it. You go learn it, and then you learn things, and you do learn about yourself with that hooded box drill, man. You learn how to control your emotions more than
Well,
anything.
the one guy, man, he ended up making it, but it was funny. Every time the hood would come up, he would jump up and like twitch his feet and then land and then do his thing.
Like a twinkle toes?
And he had no idea he was doing it.
Dude, that is so hilarious. That is hilarious. I actually, my first box, I remember my first one, it came up and it was an unarmed because you have armed and unarmed as well. And I remember this was the unarmed portion. So it was unarmed. The box came up and the room actually, our room when I was using the Dieters, they had it pretty long. So it was about, I would say 15 foot wide, but it was a good 30 foot, 40 foot long. They had opened the whole room up. So, because you could section it off, they'd opened up all the walls. Well, there was a guy at the end of the room that had a gun and he pulled his pistol on me. Well, I had a door to my left that I could have run out of, but I'm thinking in my mindset, wait a second, no, I'm protector of this because I got to take this guy out, even though I don't have a gun on me. And I was going through TDC actually at the time and I remember I sprinted at the dude and tackled him. And they watched it after and they got a laugh at. I mean, it was funny. It's like, what are you doing? You just got like shot 8 times. Well, I'm taking the dude out. I'll be honest. The instructor came after me after said, dude, I've never seen somebody chase a guy down with a gun. You didn't have anything. I said, well, I got to take him out. He says, you're dead. I'm like, yeah, but because they said that was I got kudos for it. Thinking about it again though, yeah, I don't know if I chased the guy down if he had a gun and I'm 40 foot away from him. I probably go to the door to the left. just saying. Lesson learned. But it worked out initially, and but see, that's the thing, is that your reaction. Your reaction is that right at that time. What would you do? You don't have time to think about it. What are you going to do? And I don't want to use the time, I don't want to say instinctive, but what is your reflexive action? And that was mine. Mine was to go, and I ran after him. And it was funny, dude. You should have seen the video after. The whole room was just busting up laughing because you see me look left, like I want to run out the door. And then it's kind of like, fuck it. And I just took off after the guy. And the guy with the gun had no idea why I was coming after him either because he thought I was going to run left. So he's shocked that he's like, oh, shit, the guy's charging me. And he shoots me like 3 times, and he tries to run away, and I just run down and I tackle his ass.
Well, you got body armor on, so you're good.
Wait, so what do they shoot you with during that drill? Is there anything?
Simunitions. Sim rounds. Paint rounds. For those out there that don't know what simunitions are, they're little rounds that look like bullets, and they hit you and they hit with paint. And if you get hit, even with the long, they hurt. They do hurt.
Yeah, I was thinking that's got to take some balls to do that, even with those rounds. Did you get hit?
Oh yeah, I got some. I had to explain some welts on my chest because we weren't wearing that box drill unarmed. We weren't wearing body armor at the time. It was the first one too, so I think they were trying to get us used to. Okay, this is what it's like without armor. This is what.
You went home with chest hickeys.
With chest hickeys, I had to explain to Tanya. I really did get shot. These aren't hickeys on my boob, right? Right? Ian, I've showed you, my pinkies, a couple of my pinkies on my left hand that look like little aliens growing out of my knuckles. Those are actually been broken by sim rounds because they got hit close, and that's just me being an idiot and getting shot in the hand. I may even shot myself. Yeah, maybe I shot myself in the hand too. As far as you know, I didn't, but maybe I did. Who knows?
Yeah, not like that. I don't even remember his name off the top of my head, but remember the Navy SEAL who shot himself and then blamed it on some kids in a parking lot? You know who I'm talking about, right?
What? Who? Oh, was that Dan? Was that Dan Blizzard?
It was a while ago. No, not Dan Bilzerian, because he's not even an actual Navy SEAL.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was like Who was?
You guys don't know who I'm talking about? He changed his name. I don't even want to say it because even if I did know off the top of my head, because if he happens to hear this, he might be like, that's not what happened. But what's up? No. That is. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you guys later. No, but it's pretty much known that he shot himself and blamed it on. Yeah, I'll send it to you guys. There's actually something I've always wanted to hear from you that Chris has been really open about and never heard your perspective. After the Benghazi incident, it's safe to say neither of you guys set out to be famous names. You didn't go into this for publicity or to have your name out there. Didn't plan on writing books or anything, and you guys immediately came into the spotlight to no choice of your own. And I know Chris has talked about how he handled that, and at times it was toxic. I'm wondering what your situation was like with that.
Tig, you can tell him that you went back to, because he did. I'm not don't. He did go back to. You stopped working like the rest of us, right? You went to Lebanon, didn't you?
Yeah, I
went for
back,
6 months.
Yeah, I had to wait for my lungs to heal up, and then I went back and I went back to work for 2 more deployments. I was headed back to my 3rd when we finally decided to actually do the book.
So, but what was the experience like? Because I just know for Chris, it's like it was too much having to deal with this automatic fame that he never asked for. Did you have that same experience?
Not really, because I didn't really come out. I just still stayed in the background. I mean, if you watch a lot of the interviews, Tonto answered all my questions.
That was the inside joke. It's like I remember I started doing that. Even when they ask a question, I'd actually step up in the interview. I got this, dude. I got it. It was funny. I think it was when people started to see a sense of humor with all of us too. But yeah, no, I remember doing that. Shit, I forgot all about that.
They asked, so Tig, how do you feel about this? And Tonto go, I got this.
I got this, dude. I got this.
It was like, whatever.
I totally fucking forgot about all that. Holy shit, that's funny. Oh,
so
man.
I mean, for me, it was more slow. I mean, I didn't really start pushing myself out there until probably about 3 years ago, really.
Yeah. That's when I saw it. Now, like I said, you're like me. You're getting sponsored by because you're doing some of the tactical games, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So you're out there doing that, and you're sponsored by a few. You can name them, dude. I don't know, a few companies that don't. Am I correct? Maybe I'm wrong, dude. I'll be honest. I don't really pay attention. I'm as much as I was on social media back in the day. That's about the opposite now. So I know you are, but I don't know who you're with and how that's going. So maybe tell listeners a little bit about that.
Well, my biggest sponsors right now is Brownells, which is kind of like Amazon of the gun world, and then Cryptek.
Oh yeah, you still got that fancy ass jacket?
Yep, still got the Cryptek coat.
Still got the fancy ass. If you ever go look on Tig's IG page, you'll find a picture of Tig in his fancy ass Cryptek jacket, his camo jacket that he wears.
It's the only one made.
Is that still the same one? It hasn't wore out. You haven't pitted that thing out yet? Dude,
no.
Come on.
No, man, that thing's freaking awesome.
Every time that's his game jacket, man. That's his new uniform. Whenever out or whenever we used to do stuff together, that's the one he'd wear. I remember that damn one.
Thing's pretty badass.
Yeah, the reason I asked that, though, is I just know for you guys, there's some guys who go into the special operations community and they're like, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to get my story out there. And for both of you guys, I just know it wasn't. Your name was public, whether you liked it or not.
I know with me, and I don't want to speak for Tig, but when we went to the memorial ceremony for Ronan Bub, and they ushered us into that office to make us sign non-disclosures. Oh, and by the way, if you want to get your pay for coming out here, here's your pay to reimburse you for your travel. And then I remember them putting us behind that post too, so we couldn't even see the damn memorial ceremony because we were all sitting behind a post. That was, to me, was like and that I'd done 2 trips to Yemen before that. So we all kept working. Everybody kept going. 3 of us went to Yemen. They sent Tig to Lebanon, or is that right, brother? Or I don't know. I can't remember. I know you didn't come to Yemen because me, Jack, and Boone went to Yemen. But it was like, to me, that was like, you know what? F you then. If that's how it's going to be and that's how you're going to treat us, then you guys can kiss our ass. I don't want this shit anymore. That kind of pissed me off a little bit. And that's when I decided, you know what, we got to do something. I'm over it. And I don't trust these people to have my back anymore. And let's do something. But I don't know when Tig's mind came into it on what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same when I was actually deployed. I did the teleconference with the Senate committee over, and
That's
and of course I'm out there with the chief of station out there is best friends with Bob.
yeah, that's not a coincidence. Let's do a teleconference where you can put the chief of station with you. I mean, that's not uncomfortable intimidation right there, especially when you need your job. What a shithead.
So yeah, so I got to do that. So I testified from the Senate and Congress. But I was just kind of like, man, this is kind of fucked up.
Well, I don't think a lot of people know this either. Tig didn't testify the first time with me, Jack, and Oz. They
No.
actually made Tig, and and I honestly do believe this was a planned action. This is what they were going to do. Tig was the one that verbally got the stand down from Bob, but they made Tig testify with our team leader and the other staffers. So instead of coming, again, another subtle form of intimidation that
Well,
people don't see within the government. And
well,
Tig, at that time, you were still working, weren't you?
yeah, I was still working. Actually, I just had knee surgery. I was also high in codeine.
You're it was bullshit. And I remember when Jack and I and Oz were getting ready to go testify. This was for Mike Rogers' bullshit committee. I remember looking at Jack going, why is Tig testifying with those guys? Why? And I even asked Mark, our lawyers, like, well, nobody could give me an answer. I'm like, well, that's the horse shit, man, because he's the one that was verbally told. I watched the altercation with him and Bob basically yelling at each other over their car.
We were.
But I didn't hear it. Yeah, I'm watching the whole thing go on. I can't hear it. So when Adam Schiff says, well, did you hear it? No, I didn't. I'm watching it, but you didn't hear it. No, but I'm watching it. Ask Tig when he testified. And that's when Mark kind of our lawyer put his hand on my shoulder to call, because I started to get pissed off.
Well, see,
this is horseshit.
Well, when I testified the first time with the team leader, they didn't ask me any of the stuff at the annex. They were asking the team leader everything, and then when we went to the consul, that's when they asked me all the questions after that. Well, so it's like one of those things I was definitely playing, because a guy like, well, wait a second, this is what was said. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, that's how it goes, guys. They're in the dregs of the Capitol building downstairs. When they say there's a testifying or they do a committee, believe me, the questions and the people are structured and manipulated to, especially if it's closed door, to get the answers that they want to get. It is, and it was bullshit. It was ridiculous. And I know Tig's the same way. Me, looking back, hindsight 2020, I probably would have been more even vocal. I can't talk for Tig, but I'm assuming you probably would have been. But at that time too, we were new to it. I was new to it, so. And lawyers like, just be careful what you say, because you still think the government's going to be able to come and hit you down with a hellfire where you're sitting in your damn motel room, or take everything away from you for the rest of your life. They're going to take all your money, where really you just don't know. And unless you get good advice, you're kind of, because you're just leaving the government right now. You're just leaving work, and you're still a little bit intimidated by the government, which now I'm not. I could give two shits, but you're just careful for what you say, because you just don't know what they could possibly take from you if you don't say the right things. And I know things would be different now if we testified now in comparison to when we did the first time. And I guarantee you, I would have been a hell of a lot more vocal, saying, no, fuck, Tig needs to be in here with us. He was there with us. This is bullshit. He needs to be. I'm not going out there. But I did. And hindsight's 2020. So.
Yep.
I wanted to see if Tig wanted to expand on that at all. So.
Oh, go ahead, Tig. Man, expand on it even more. If you want to, it's up to you, man.
Well, I mean, for me, I'm more I don't really like volunteer information. If they didn't ask me the question, I didn't even answer it. If they asked him, I don't think I didn't feel intimidated. But of course, when I went in again, I was high in freaking oxy, so I was like 2 days out of knee surgery. So I was having fun.
Yeah, so. I remember you saying that. I remember you talking about that. I totally forgot about it up until you just mentioned it again, though. Yeah, it was shitty, dude. It was a shitty way, but I do think that we exposed a lot of stuff that was going on. Whether it's benefited the country or not, I don't know. But I know we showed a lot of the American people that if you didn't trust the government, Uh, if you do trust the government, you might not want to. If you don't already, well, we just validated it for you that be skeptical of what you're being told.
Oh yeah, right on. I definitely think that you guys did good in that sense. I know that just hearing the story from my perspective, it meant a lot. And when I heard people in the mainstream media, even including we talked about it on a show, even Jon Stewart, who I normally think is funny on some things, conspiracy theorists, it pissed me off. And I think it pissed off anyone who really knew the story of what happened from the perspective of you guys who were on the ground. I wanted to ask you about something else, Tig. I know for Chris, he loves how he was portrayed in 13 Hours, felt the movie was well done, felt, the portrayal of him was well done by Pablo. What did you think of 13 Hours as a movie and Dominic's portrayal of you in the film?
Well, I got to be honest, I don't really remember.
So it's not something you go back and watch. It's you saw it once and you're done with it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, when I recall, I mean, it honored the four guys, which to me was the most important thing, and that's all that really mattered. I mean, there's a couple things that they portrayed me as that really irritated me. So, for one, losing the fucking grenade launcher. I did not lose the damn grenade launcher. I know exactly where it was. I know exactly what happened to it. But, it's just, but again, to me, it was just more about, I didn't really care too much about how I got portrayed. It's just more about getting the actual truth out there as much as possible without Hollywood ripping it too much and honoring the guys that were killed. So.
Did you like the fact that they didn't go super political? Because I remember before the election, people felt like, it was right before the election, people are going to be packing out theaters and they're going to have a bad taste in their mouth about voting for Hillary. And then people saw the film and it wasn't overly political. It didn't really talk about Hillary much.
No, I mean, I think it was good that they didn't because, while we were there was no politics involved. I mean, we were just doing our job trying to get things and save lives. And I think if they'd have drawn the political side into it, it did a dishonor to the four guys who were killed.
I agree. We wanted to keep it as apolitical as possible. And I honestly, I think there's a longevity to it that because it's not political, now that people that are saying that politics are bullshit, they're starting even to watch the movie. So I think it gives it more legs, longer legs for people to watch. And in my opinion, I thought I love Dominic. I think he was he's a super nice guy. And he played, a lot of guys don't see Tig's soft side. And I'm not talking about his penis, okay? I'm not talking about that. All right? But I think Dominic did pull out, Tig's super nice guy. And Dominic played that as an outsider, working with Tig and then seeing how Dominic portrayed him. I thought he did a great job. Tig can get a little more fired up than Dominic got in the movie, but the reasonable, hey, I care, I'm a big guy, but I give a shit. I think Dominic did a great job doing that. I thought he did. So when I watch it, I see Tig, especially the sheep humping. I actually remember even you told me that night when you saw the sheep humping. I remember. Because you guys thought they were sneaking under the sheep, you and Oz. I remember, like, what the fuck's going on? And I remember you telling me you were talking about the sheep humping, and and they thought the sheep were humping underneath the zombie land. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah. So when they put it in the movie, I'm like, shit, I remember that. I remember Tig even told me that night. Yep. That was funny.
it was fun, especially when the daylight started coming up. I'm like, oh, mother.
And I remember why I remember it too is that I remember you telling me how bad it wasn't just the sheep, is that how bad that Spo was shitting his pants too. The guy that was on the cameras trying to figure that shit out.
Yeah.
That was just this. Like, oh my god, he's shitting himself. Like, why is he shitting himself? He's sitting on a camera. We're the ones that should be shitting ourselves. We're out here in the open. It's just funny stuff. I funny that brings it back, but nah, man. With the the tactical games, guys. I know we got listeners that want to, and I'm getting off subject, but getting off the Benghazi thing. But the tactical game stuff, man. What do you think of that? Because I know we have listeners that want to get into it, and if they do, how do they get into it? What do you recommend they start training on besides shooting? Is there physical? Because I know you got back into shape from 3-4 years ago, and you're dealing with some injuries that you always have for the rest of your life. Why do you work through those? What kind of workouts do you do? What do you recommend to guys that want to get into the tactical games? Because I do recommend a lot of veterans, especially if they're having issues, post-match stress, stuff like that.
Oh
That's
yeah.
another outlet for you. So
It is. I mean, it's a good community. I mean, it's kind of. I'd say get into CrossFit, especially if you haven't been working out at all. Don't just jump into these things. It'll whoop your ass fast. we've had a lot of people. A lot of guys come in with these egos. Oh, I got this. This is easy. It's just shooting competition. And you'll literally watch guys walk. Either they won't even finish the battle. So we call them battles. You'll see them just walk right straight to the car and drive. Get in shape, work out. It's kind of like CrossFit, tough man meets shooting 2-gun. It's rifle, pistol. So some guys come with iron sights. I mean, you can shoot with anything you want now. On the rifle, you can use magnification or red dot or iron sights. It has to be 5.56, and the pistol's a pistol. Obviously almost everybody's got a Glock. You can use whatever you want. You can use those 22 if you want, but I probably
really.
And
so any caliber doesn't make a damn bit of difference.
Well, nothing bigger. Usually it's 9, 40, or 45.
Okay.
But I mean, they'll probably let you shoot a 22 because it's not going to do any more damage than a 9. So
hey, as far as workouts, when you first started doing it, because I think you started, was it 2 years ago? Or was it a year ago?
Well, it's only been on this is their 3rd year, so it was 2 years ago that I started it, and it was actually it's their second one that I did.
And did you just jumped into it though? You weren't ready for it.
I
Right?
had no idea what
I remember. I think you told me that we talked once. You're like, "Holy shit, it's kicking my." So tell guys. So when Tick's saying don't just jump into it, because he has experience where he just jumped into it.
Yeah. So I don't know. They said Brown Nose is one of my sponsors. They, hey Tig, we got this competition we'd like you to come out and do for us. I'm like, oh, okay. What do I need? Well, you need body armor, and so I had that. Plate carry, whatever, bags, and just a rifle and pistol. It's like, okay, I'll come out and do this. Had no idea what I was in for. There's like, yeah, you got to climb a rope, you got to do this. I'm like, climb a rope? I haven't climbed a rope in like freaking 20. But, I was kind of already a little bit working out, not a whole lot.
Well, you're still overcoming that shoulder, man. You're still injured, weren't you, in your back?
No, actually, that happened the second year. That happened in January the second year.
Okay.
But you're doing like a lot of sandbag stuff, sled drags, farmer's carry. You got the tombstone carry. A lot of stuff to get your heart rate moving. One of the movements was a 5-mile run. So it's a full kit, rifle, body armor, everything you got. You can't, just kind of like on the battlefield, you don't want to leave your mags behind. You got to pick up your mags as you move. Because if you don't, it's a 30-second penalty. Each shot you miss is a 10-second penalty. So just because you're the fastest, usually I'm the fastest one done, but my eyesight sucks. I can't hit anyway, so I just pull it faster.
Well, do you put a red dot on your pistol, or are you not allowed?
No, pistol is only iron. Just
only iron.
Yep. So
this sounds great, man. Where could people check this out?
It's the tacticalgames.com. They're all over. I mean, actually, the one just in New Mexico, it got canceled because of the Chinese virus.
Yep.
It is. There's nothing politically incorrect saying that.
No, absolutely. Well, we talked about it on the last show, Chris. I mean, I don't think it took a rocket scientist to know it, but China they lied about their statistics. It doesn't make sense that all these people were being infected and then all of a sudden it's a flat line. It doesn't work that way, and I don't think it took much investigation to see. China lied. They've been lying the whole time.
Oh, they're still. I mean, their numbers are front in hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. What I want to see is, once this is all done, which companies still are using China to make their stuff. If we're still importing, or are we going to be hypocrites and just it's over now, we're still going to use it? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, it's just tough to say because, like with the technology we use, when can we really get to a point where an iPhone can be manufactured in America and not be, thousands upon thousands of dollars?
Well,
it's gonna be a while.
We'll see, man. All I'm saying is that we'll just see. We'll see. But it's a rhetorical question, and you know that we're going, because we don't do shit. But like you said in our text, we're talking, what do we actually provide the world now in this country? Movies, That's what,
Yeah.
that's what we do.
I know people hate to hear that, and I actually tweeted something out about that, and I don't know. I think people think when you say that that's our greatest export that it's anti-America or something, but it's just a fact at this point. We don't produce anything, and it does have to do with unions and all of that. Not to get all political here, but yeah, what does America provide the rest of the world uses? They watch all of our movies, but every piece of technology. I mean, every piece of technology we're on right now, it's all made over there.
And that's where we talked again. We could learn from this, and we could figure it out and fix ourselves, or we could fall back right in the same path. And in another 10 years, we'll have another Michelob Hoba Liberty Bibbity Chinese virus.
Liberty Bibbity.
I love that commercial. That's my favorite commercial. The what's the Liberty Mutual commercial? Liberty Bibbity. Yeah, I love that. That's Liberty Bibbity virus. I was watching it. I was like, okay, that's what I'm calling the virus from now on. Liberty Bibbity virus. That's what it's gonna be. Yeah, but dig with now. I know we come back to tactical games. Did you do any this year, or were they all? Did you get any in before they were canceled at all?
I got one in Texas because the first one I missed because I had another freaking surgery, but no, I got the one in Texas was about a month ago.
Oh man, how'd you do? If you don't mind me asking.
I think I got 17 overall out of like 100 and something.
Now, are they just prize purse, or are there actually purses for these? Like you could actually win, because it gives guys options. Once this all Liberty Bibbity virus is over, they can, guys, it's a chance to make a little extra money. But I don't know, is that a possibility? I
don't think they're doing any cash ones yet, but I mean, if you win, you can easily get I think the last one, a couple times I've given away like a 2,000 plus rifle. So
nice.
You can sell that.
And you can get sponsorship if you get good. You can get sponsorships,
yep.
Right?
So
again, it's another avenue for veterans that still want to get out there and shoot. Tig's doing it, so obviously everybody can do it. If Tig's doing it, I can have this.
No, I agree.
I give Tig, as much as I give him shit, he is injured and he's still pulling it off and he's still performing and he's competing. And I know his injuries are severe because I saw his ass get blown up by that gelatina. I was watching him when he got blown up by that gelatina. I thought he was blown to bits. So I remember when you got hit with that gelatina bomb coming over and you get in that water. I remember that. All I remember is I saw the flash and like, well, fuck, he's dead. And I just turned and I thought to myself, well, I'll go pick him up later. And I just kept shooting. So I was like, when it all got done, I looked back down.
You're too busy pooping.
No, that was later. I was pooping later. This was the beginning when the turtle head was slowly poking out. It just had started to crown. The baby's head had started to push out at that point. But I was like, yeah, fuck, I'll go get him. And like, holy shit, he's not dead. I couldn't figure out until honestly, I don't think I even asked you until long later. Like, how the fuck did you live out of that? But yeah, that thing fucked you. People don't realize a lot of the naysayers that watch 13 Hours are like, holy shit, this is bullshit. How did he do this movie's so fake? Like, no, motherfucker, that motherfucker got blown up. and he's got the fucking chronic back pain and shoulder numbness to prove it. So I'm telling you guys out there, you get out there. Tig does it. I know it's helped him a bunch. I recommend guys, if you still want to get out there and shoot and get in a good environment, get out there with it. And if you have injuries, suck it up there, Marines, Rangers, and SEALs, just like you did when you were in. Suck it up and get out there and compete. And I know we'll put out your information, Tig, at the end if they want to reach out to you and talk to you about it. Could they?
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'll give that out now. But no, that story is true perseverance. So yeah, before we go, definitely follow Tig on Instagram, John_Tiegen, at John Tiegen on Twitter. JohnTiegen.com, JohnTiegen.com. And I should ask you about, before we wrap things up, you also have the Tiegen Foundation, which is the TigenFoundation.org, if people are interested in that.
That's so Beyond the Battlefield, isn't it?
Yeah, Beyond the Battlefield.
Should rename it. All right, go ahead.
Well, no, we didn't rename it. We had to use the TigenFoundation.org because Beyond the Battlefield website was already taken, unfortunately.
Who took it? Who took it?
Some place out of UK.
Oh, okay. So it's okay then?
They do law enforcement, so it's another charity, but they do law enforcement in the.
I got you.
Something like that.
Yeah, but no, talk about it, and if you want to mention, I know we partnered on something where we helped a Marine. Wasn't it build like a ramp? A Marine that needed a ramp or he needed a new house. So I know Margaret Margaret, his wife, pretty much handles the foundation,
Yeah.
and my wife handles the foundation on my end. So I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever you guys decide. But no, tell people about it.
Yeah, so it's doing a lot of this traveling with the book and the movie, doing a lot of other events for charities and stuff, and talking to other veterans and first responders. A lot of their complaints that I was hearing from them was, I went to this foundation, but they won't help me because I'm not this, or I went to this foundation and they don't do this, so I don't know where to go, and they wouldn't help guys find things. We kind of started ours off like that, but we kicked ours off from we had to do a hog roast every year. I've been doing one since like 2002. We had a friend of mine that came, and he had to have brain surgery, and the VA wasn't covering it because they said it wasn't part of the military. So he needed to raise like another $5,000 for it. So we turned the one hog roast into like a charity, like a fundraiser for him, and he brought one of his buddies with him. And so he came, he had twin daughters, brought his wife and stuff like that. And when he left, about a month later, we got an email from him saying, "Hey, your event saved my life. Actually, I was going to come out there, just have a last little powwow with my kids and my wife, and I was going to kill myself." And that just kind of escalated it, and like, you know what, we're going to keep doing this. And so we came up with it, Beyond the Battlefield, and we just started helping. Our biggest goal is to try to help veterans get service dogs and first responders. But our what do they call them? The rules, whatever.
There's
the bylaws.
Bylaws. Yep.
So we left them wide open to where we can do whatever. We'll pretty much help you veterans or first responders anything that we can if we can do it. And when like Tonto was saying, I think it was the house we were putting up.
Yeah.
For veteran.
Yep. That was it was a house.
Building a house for a Vietnam veteran. We've remodeled a house that got hit by the hurricane. We've bought food, paid for electricity. We got veterans for TBI, PTS treatment, counseling, and multiple dogs as well. So again, we'll do what we can when we can. If we can't do it, we will help you find somebody who can help you. The only thing we won't do, though, for sure, is we won't help pay legal fees.
Yeah, I don't think we can do. I don't think any foundation legally we can't do that either. 14th Hour Foundation can't do that, and that's that. I won't put that because like 14th Hour do the same thing with TIG stuff, but we partner. So even though TIG and I hate each other, we still partner on things to help out veterans every once in a while, and that's one of the things that and I know if my foundation needed money, I could hit up Tiggs and say, "Hey, dude, can you loan us some? I got somebody I need to," and that's why we made it across board where foundations can help other foundations, because I felt the same way as Tiggs. Like, dude, all these foundations are competing against each other. Here I am making money for another foundation, which is good, but it's only going to help the specific individual here or the specific branch. Why aren't we doing this for everybody? And then why don't we help other foundations out? Tig's got a great foundation. Beyond the Battlefield, definitely got to check. What's the website though? I know something Beyond the Battlefield. Say it again, man.
The TiegenFoundation.org.
TiegenFoundation.org. There it is. Cool.
Yeah. Awesome, man. No, I really appreciate you coming on for this hour. I think it's been an awesome discussion of stuff that people probably didn't know about you, stuff that I certainly didn't know about you. And I hope you're staying safe out there, man. We don't want to get so far into the coronavirus stuff with this episode, just because I feel like it's all people are here.
You can go everywhere else and read about the coronavirus.
Yeah, hopefully this is a little bit of an escape from that, because it's just coronavirus 24/7. I will say this, though, which is pretty cool. Did you guys see the article that came out about that 95-year-old World War II veteran who beat this?
Yeah, the Marine.
Yeah, couldn't be cooler, man. And he literally quoted for the paper, "I survived Guam. I can get through this bullshit." And he's 95-year-old World War II veteran in Oregon. Bill Kelly.
I bet you he only had a minimum amount of toilet paper at his house too, you assholes. Stop buying all the toilet paper.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand it. Dude, I'm telling you, some media personality or some social media Twitter on twatted something out there, or some politician said a statement. We got to dig and find it about toilet paper, and everybody latched onto it. Just like when Johnny Carson, he did the same thing. he did it back about toilet paper. Made a joke on the Tonight Show. I think it was 20 years ago about toilet paper, and everybody mass hysteria went about toilet paper. So it was some social media influencer, I guarantee you, that twatted it on Twitter, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, I gotta go buy all the toilet paper," and they did it.
I don't know if it's just people, because I said it on the last episode, and I think it cut out a little bit. Like my parents are not preppers or anything, but they're like very well prepared for certain things. And like you go to their garage, and it is just like stacks on top of stacks of plastic bags, of garbage bags, of water, and of toilet paper, and like. They went to the store and got more toilet paper. I'm like, why? and I don't think they're doing it to because they're worried or panic or anything. I think there's just people who like to stock up on stuff, and a lot of them are preppers. Some of them aren't preppers. Some of them are just like hoarders. I don't know. I think that could be part of it. I don't think they do it to.
Well, like me, we live out in the country, so when we go to the store, we'll buy like 2 big bundles of toilet paper.
Yeah.
But we don't do it, it's not a year supply though. It's lasts a couple of months. Yes, but we don't like to go into town every freaking week to buy toilet paper either.
Yeah, he lives, guys. I've been
Bulk buy and Sam, so
he lives out in BF. Now he's way off the beaten path. Google and Siri don't have any idea where Tig lives either. So it's like way out there. So but I know
just get lost coming out here.
Yeah. So I'm assuming no hog roast this year because of the libbity virus.
No, we'll probably do one.
All right. Well, I haven't paid attention to Colorado and their crazy governor. So
I don't care about the fire. Mine's a closed pit when I do it. So
hey, well, this FYAR, if you're gonna have one, is it open still to everybody or is it invitational? I can't remember.
Well,
I know you outside your foundation.
We're still good. Well, we're still going to do the one for Warrior Weekend, but the one at my house is going to be back to kind of normal, so it's going to be invitation only. Because the last week we had over 300 people here, and it was just, and a couple people got a little bit too tipsy and fell through my walls. So, yeah.
Shocker! A veteran gets drunk and plows his head through a wall. Big shock.
Well, actually, they're in the bathroom. It looks like they got just tumbled. He probably passed out pissing or something and just tumbled to the wall.
Oh, that's even awesome, more. Man. That's even more news. Drunk veteran passes out, falls through the bathroom drywall. Alert the other media for page 2's follow-up report. Yeah, that never happens ever. All right, hey man. Hey, brother, I appreciate you coming on. I still hate your face though. Just know that.
Yeah, you're still ugly.
Thanks for coming on, Tig. It's been a pleasure, man, and maybe we'll do a part 2. I'm sure I'm going to get emails of, why didn't you ask him this or that? So we'll do a part 2 at some point.
All right. So Chris finally came out of the closet about being transgender, though.
Hey, don't worry about that. You still love me. That's why you guys think I'm sexy all the time. That's why I wear my silkies everywhere. You guys loved it. Don't hate the player, dude. Just hate the game.
Appreciate it, man.
Yep, have a good one.
Bye.
All right, cool. I dropped him from that. That was good, man. We'll wrap up from here. Yeah, dude, no, great interview with Tig. I really learned a lot about him there. Good hearing perspective from both of you guys about the Blackwater stuff, and you saying about the roast at his house. I've been talking to people, and I just think things getting back to normal, it's going to be a slow transition. Like, I think for a while, things getting back to normal when it happens, which is going to be a month from now minimum, unfortunately, is going to be going out to restaurants, going out to Starbucks. But I think it might be a while until it's massive gatherings. And my friend Scott works for MLB, and I'm asking him, what are you guys doing? Because I don't know if there'll be a baseball season,
Nah, there probably won't. It's weird for me, and I think this is why I do a little bit of my passive aggressive making fun of it all, because honestly, this is normal for me when I'm home. I don't go out. We don't do a ton of stuff. We stay home, watch movies. I have a gym at my house. I go run. I ran 6 miles. I went and ran 6 miles today.
Nice.
The kids, no, it's great. I admit this is just normal for me. And when I say I'm the most antisocial social person you ever find, I'm being completely honest with you. And my wife the same way. We do like to take the kids to Dave and Buster's. We do like to, but it's not something that we do regularly. We're not drinkers. We're not partying. And that's not saying in a bad way. Some people like to be social drinkers. There's nothing wrong with that.
I would say the big difference for you is within just this span, within this month, normal you at this point in your life would have probably taken 2 or 3 flights within this span of time.
I
Minimum.
would have got. But the thing is that it's, to me, I wanted to take the time off. I wanted to take the break, but it's hard to when that's your livelihood.
Yeah.
This to me is I've been given the opportunity to say, hey, dude, you needed to take a break. Here it is. Enjoy it. So that's what it is. To me, it's a blessing. It's been a blessing, because if this wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have taken the break that I so desperately needed to take. And
Sure.
I feel awesome with it. And I don't know, bro. And I know I'm not in the majority with people. At least I don't think I am. I hope I am.
Yeah, I think you may be for where you are. You know what I mean? Because we look at the statistics, and like I said, we're not going to go over it, but I mean, it's really hitting where I am. It's not really hitting.
No, you're right. You just again, you have so many people in a close area that it's going to, and the ages it's going to hit. It's just, you just have more people, brother, and that's why I'm being careful to not make fun of it and to being disrespectful, because it is serious. People, there are people that they're going to die. And again, I bet there are going to be a ton of people also that really find themselves, and a lot higher percentage that are really going to look at this and be, man, this has given me the opportunity to change my life and get back to faith and family, and get back to just being at home and enjoying it, being at home, and maybe even better in their life, doing workouts, reading more. Like I said, we always say, guys, start a podcast, start something constructive. And I honestly believe in that. That's how you pass time on deployments. Oh my God, deployments. And there are diseases and sicknesses just going around camps and the tents and the Connex boxes. And you find a way just to get through that time. You find a way to be constructive. And people, I think, are going to find that resiliency that they took for granted, or they thought they didn't have because we had so many opportunities to do everything else, whether it's to go out and have a drink, or to go on a vacation, or do stuff that really wasn't constructive. It just was, I just need to be around somebody. I do feel like, again, this has been a blessing for 95% of the country. God bless, and bless those that have passed and their families. I'm sorry. I really am. I say that sincerely, since I have seen death. I know what that is. But this, again, you can look at it negative, and you can go down that road of it. This hysteria that the media, I know, likes to push, or you can turn off the media and look inside your own world and like, okay, this is a break where I can actually become a better person in some facet. What can I do? And leave it at that. This is opportunity. Either go up or down, half full or half empty. What are you going to be? You're going to be half full, or you're going to be half empty. And I don't know. That's how I look at it, and that's how I've always looked at life, and that's how I've always looked at war, and that's how I always looked at my deployments when I was gone, and that's how I always looked at whenever I had a bad day at home. It's just sometimes it is harder to find that silver lining. I'm just hoping people can. That's all. I know you can, because I'm one of the weakest motherfuckers out there, and I can find the silver lining. So I know everybody else can out there too.
Definitely not true there, but no, I'm trying to, man. I will be honest, it's tough. There was a time in my life I was a pretty negative guy, and I think I've grown to be a very positive guy who does look at the silver lining. And I'll be honest, at this point, it's tough. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you guys and say like I am. It's taking me out of my normal routine. I'll tell you something that's kind of that I at least laughed at or spacked myself over, was that when I was editing the last podcast, I think the fact that I'm so out of my normal routine of talking to people every day, and I am pretty introverted like yourself, but my everyday does involve talking to all different people. When I was editing the last podcast, you always have that joke where you're like, oh, I'm filibustering again. The last podcast. And as I'm editing that show, I'm like, God, just shut up already and let Chris talk. And I'm sure other people listening heard that. And I think I was just desperate to have a conversation with anybody. So I was that last podcast was like 95% me. And I'm usually not like that. I can usually hold back. And I honestly think, like, psychologically, it's kind of weird. It's like how they punish. If they punish you, they put you in solitary confinement. I still have my family, but I'm living on my own. They say, they invite me to come over at any time, but I generally like living on my own. But I do realize there is a difference when you go to work every day or even talk to someone at Starbucks and spark up a conversation. And I mean, that's like the great thing about life that unfortunately, and maybe this is me being pessimistic, that we are missing right now. Like the cool thing about life is every day something new could happen. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to spark a conversation with. And unfortunately, at least for the time being, that is kind of on a hiatus. You're not talking to very many people. I mean, everybody's very cordial, I've noticed, when you talk to the people delivering mail. People are in a better mood in that, like, we're all in this together. But you're probably not going to have a very in-depth conversation with anybody right now. It's just the way it is.
And that's get used to that. And if you don't live like that, I'm okay living like that. I can have a conversation and talk your ear off, or I can, hey, not talk to you at all. I'm okay with both. But if you're used to that, like you are, Ian, and you're at a point, you've just got to find something to fill that time with. And who knows, brother? FedEx is hiring. You can talk to as many people as you want out there. and that's not a knock. I mean, FedEx and all them places, all them delivery places, they are hiring like gangbusters right now. That's fantastic. To me, that's another silver lining. It's like, oh my gosh, these places are hiring. The economy's going to shit, but there's still companies out there that are keeping us afloat. And guess what? If you're looking for a job, you need work. I know it might suck and you may not want to do, but that may be an opening. And believe me, you're going to be talking to people a lot, and you're going to be getting out and around. You're going to be able to drive around and see what you. So maybe that's something people that are having those. It's not anxiety. Help me out. Withdrawals. People withdrawals.
Yeah, sure.
That's something.
Yeah, and if I'm having them, other people are, because I am very introverted. You know what I mean? And you don't realize until you're away from people completely how much you appreciate those little conversations day to day. You know what? I want to mention one other thing while we're wrapping up here. You were talking about the getting back to faith thing during all this. Have you seen the whole response to Trump bringing out Mike Lindell? And another kind of media outrage over that.
Brother, you got it. I don't watch any news at all, guys. I know I have a podcast and I watch no news. Makes a lot of sense.
I won't even
fill everybody in and me in too.
I won't even get into the whole story of it, because I think this pretty much sums it up. Mutual friend of Andrew Wilkow, Trent Chavez, who used to own a site. It was proudconservative.com, I believe. I just was looking at the status he wrote today, and I'm trying to stay off social media because it's so much nonsense. But I really like what Trent wrote, and I think it'll resonate with you. So here's what Trent: several small businesses throughout his life. He then starts a new business that is very successful. However, this man fell into a bad drug addiction. Through the grace of God, he finds himself, and God kicks his addiction and grows his business even bigger and employs approximately 1,500 fellow Americans. Imagine that he credits his belief in God for saving his life. Imagine that in a time of crisis, this man converts 75% of his company away from producing the product that his company normally makes so that he can supply our medical community with supplies that they desperately need. Good man, right? Role model. Hero, even. Oh, wait, he praised President Trump and suggested families use this time of quarantine to read the Bible and get back in touch with God. For these reasons, his support of Donald Trump and his deep faith in God, this man is being trashed and ridiculed by the Democrats and the liberal media. What a sad state of affairs that in this crisis, they can't get past their hatred of President Trump or their dislike of anything religious to acknowledge what a good thing this man has done. By the way, this man is Mike Lindell, owner of MyPillow. I thought that was really great.
Holy shit! People are mad because he says something about Trump and he's doing all those. Are you kidding?
So basically, Trump had him speak because he is converting his plants to help with this crisis. And he spoke at the White House, and he spoke about God, getting back to the Bible. And basically, the media spun that as Trump is, letting this man use this as an infomercial for MyPillow.
This is why people need to get out of politics. This is why people need to stop watching that bullshit politics. I think this is a tremendous. There's nothing negative that I can see from my 10,000-foot view of what you just said and what this and I've seen the MyPillow commercials and what he's doing, which sounds very altruistic. That there's anything wrong with that, and saying to get back to God. And people are saying, no, this is terrible. you know what? This is a God-fearing man to tell you this right now to all you people saying that. Fuck you. Okay, that's bullshit. I think he's doing I think it's tremendous. And for
Yeah.
people to say, oh, and to hammer it because telling you to read the Bible, that's political.
Yeah, I think some of it is like people just saw him up there and they're like, he's a friend of Trump. He's going to use this moment to, talk about my pillow, which is not what he did. He talked about getting back to God.
And that is tremendous. That's fantastic. And you know what? If there was an underlying notion, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. If there was an underlying notion and he's doing it for ulterior reasons, well, he'll settle up with God when he sees him. I'm not going to worry about that. And I don't think that from what you read to me, I don't think there is. I think
No, me neither. I mean, like I said, he went up there. I think people just see him up there like, oh, what is he going to talk about? How great my pillow is, and that is definitely not what he spoke about. So I don't. Yeah, I when I read that from Trent, because to be honest, I knew Mike Lindell as a great business owner, a friend of Trump, but I had no idea of his back history. I don't think many people do. So reading that opened my eyes to something.
Well, I just think it's a positive statement, and he's doing great things, and he's using that because it is the healthcare community. And we talk about the swine flu. The swine flu, we were able to really, first of all, start in Mexico, not in China, and then it came to here next. And I think we were able to get a handle on it and stop what could have been even more massive deaths of our youth. But also, we had a store up and this is why he's donating a lot of this stuff. The healthcare doesn't have the essential items they need because during that H1N1, we had that store up, all that was used, and we never, the healthcare community never hoarded it all back, which they needed to. So that's why we don't have enough ventilators. We don't have enough a mass. We don't, because a lot of the stuff that got bought up with this hysteria. And the government didn't put it back into it after the swine flu to re up the stocks if we ever had a catastrophic event again, which we're having. So by him doing this, oh my God, that's a godsend. You know how many lives he's going to save by whatever he is doing positively to help the healthcare community is going to save lives. And then for him to say we need to get back to the Bible, those people that are hating on right now, you definitely need to get back to the Bible. I'll tell you on this show, yes, this is the opportunity to find your faith, find your family, get back to that Bible, and really find yourself again, because you are completely lost. And I'm not going to say Democrats, I'm not going to say conservatives or Republicans. I'm not. I'm going to say everyone that puts their politics first right now. Man, you got all the ones that really need to get back into the Bible. That's bullshit. There should be no politics involved with any of this right now. None. Zero. What we need to get back into is just doing what we can and to stay positive. But if you're a business owner and you have the billions of dollars like he does, and God bless him, he does. He made the money, and he wants to give it back to the healthcare community, and then say, you know what, we do need to start reading the Bible. Then, damn right. I fully agree with him, and he's doing good for the community and good for the world and good for the United States of America and good for healthcare workers. There ain't a damn thing wrong with that. So I know I'm starting to get a little pissed because
no, it's great. I got you fired up. This is why it's funny, because I've gotten tweets. They're like, you got to get Chris back on Twitter, and I think you get fired up, which is good.
But I just to me that is again, we went straight from ridiculousness and we went straight from ridiculousness, right? We're in the ridiculous. We went, in Tropic Thunder, they say never go full retard. They skipped that. They went to potato, straight to potato, by saying a stupid comment like that. And whether and I'm not going to get, Trump did. I'm not going to say that. I don't care what Trump did, if he got him on or got him. The gentleman here, what's his name, Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell. To me, from what you've read to me, from what it sounds like he's doing, man, that is awesome. And to keep doing it. And he is spot on, because we say it on the show all the time. I say it all the time. You say it as well. Man, this is a chance. Get back to faith. Get back to your family. Get back to the faith and read the Bible or pray or just anything little. Just know that, man, there's something higher out there. We've been given an opportunity to find that higher being, whatever it is, whatever you want to believe it is. I believe it's God. I'm not telling you have to believe, but I do believe there's something higher out there that helps us. There is something out there. Getting back to faith. And if you want to poo-poo that, man, you're the ones that definitely need it. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to get on but again, I'm not going to get in the political aspect of it, because that's going to taint all of it. Nope. Politics be damned. Push that aside. Get back to what's important, and that is, geez, just being a good damn person. And washing your hands, you dirty birds.
Well said, man. Well, we went longer than I know you were able to allot time for.
Oh, crap. Did I ramble that long? I'm sorry.
No, I mean, we're enjoying it. This is what happens. But yeah, wrapping things up once again, today's show is sponsored by our friend Tim at patchops.com, which is an officially licensed partner company of Chris Peranto, KPI LLC, and Battleline Tactical. They make the Battleline Tactical PVC morale patches and vinyl decals, and of course the triggers. Sorry,
the switch is on, motherfucker. I'm gonna shoot you in the face. I know what I said. I know what it is.
I'm sure a patch is coming. Yeah, the quality of their products will blow you away. So do us a favor and go follow Patch Ops on Facebook and Twitter, Patch Operations on Instagram. Patch Ops is family owned and operated by Marine veteran Tim Hickey and his wife Michelle. Tim actually served in the same infantry unit as TIG 37, and their company focuses on supplying the highest quality morale patches and vinyl decals on the market today at an affordable price. They have amazingly talented artists on staff that can take your custom ideas, like Audacious Andy did, from concept to reality. She made that Tonto Tribe patch. I'm going to put up something. So, yeah, I'm going to show you guys the quality of these patches because they look great. It'll be up on our Instagram at Battleline Podcast. But yeah, they will create something that will make everyone involved proud to display. Every aspect of this company makes them stand out in a crowd. So please go check them out at patchops.com. Grab some of the baddest patches and decals on the planet, or have them start making your very own designs today. Use code BATTLE at patchops.com. Patch Ops morale patches designed for the hardcore. The quality of this stuff, I know I've said it, but it's just awesome. He does such a great job, man. I've been so happy with everything that I have. I'm kind of pissed that I can't bring my gym bag with my Battleline. I know I would get some comments on them. They look great, man.
Well, it'll come, man. It'll come. People need to realize too. It's only been a month. I mean, I think people are like, "Oh my God, is it terrible?" It's been years, dude. It's only been a month. And try living in a man camp with a bunch of dudes that have everything, every disease known to man for almost like 7 months to a year or 10. So, okay, then I'll feel you. If we'll be talking about this in December, but if we are, okay, I got you. You can complain now, but it's only been a month, guys. Come on,
yeah.
We're gonna be fine, and you got a Battleline podcast to listen to too, and you can replay it over and over and over again.
Yeah, and we have some great guests coming on this month, so I'm really excited. I know that Chris is saying, hey, maybe we could do 2 a week. I'm down for it, man. If the demand is there, let us know, guys. I think it would be really cool. There's a lot of people, a lot of big guests we can get on that are at home now. Like I've seen that Ted Nugent is doing a whole bunch of interviews. I'm like, oh, we got to grab him. So,
awesome.
He would be great. Yeah. So
I think Kevin Sorbo would be another one. Get Kevin on. That'd
yes.
be great.
And I don't want to tell you everybody we have lined up for this month, but like it's pretty awesome. This will be our biggest month in terms of guests. And wrapping things up here, every show of ours is sponsored by Fort Scott Munitions. Fort Scott is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammo. It's designed to TUI, their trademark tumble upon impact, in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammunition was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military-grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self-defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout privately owned businesses in all 50 states, as well as directly online through fortscottmunitions.com. Use exclusive promo code Battleline for 15% off your order. Only available to listeners of the Battleline Podcast. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline Podcast. And I've kept you way longer than you wanted to go, Chris. But it was a good show.
4:30. Holy shit! Yeah, I got to go downstairs to finish up my workout, and then be time to fix some dinner with the family. Guys, one thing I never did, and I'm doing more, and I actually enjoy it. I forgot how nice it was just to wash dishes in my own sink because I was so fast. I want to use the dishwasher. They get so much cleaner. I like the little things like Chris, you're weird. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I'm thinking that.
It's like, oh my gosh, I love washing dishes at night in my own sink and cleaning my kitchen up. It reminds me of being home with my mom because she was always good at that. Always, when you went to bed, that kitchen was clean. Well, I guess I got a little bit of my mom in me here because that's what enjoy the little things, guys. There's so many little things you can enjoy. Like now I'm doing the podcast, looking out my window, trees, blue sky. It's just beautiful, man. So just keep that positive mindset. And Ian, dude, you need to write another article. That article got a hell of a good response, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that was for those wondering. That's for Sandbox with 2 X's at the end. About personal training and staying fit during this time and where you can't go to the gym and all that. And I'll give a shout out to Alex Hongs over there, who's one of the editors, who's also a former Marine, great guy. And hopefully they want me to write some other stuff. I would love to. I love writing that type of stuff.
Alex, if you're listening, you need to have this guy write some more. And I think just even a weekly article of you recommending a workout routine for stay-at-home workout routine, I think would be hugely beneficial. And it was a great article. So Alex, you definitely need to get this guy hired on and do a weekly article. And if not, you're missing out on a good thing, man. All right, brother.
That's funny. Well said, man. Well, I'm actually gonna go over to my parents for dinner right now, so I'm in the same boat. I live about 5 minutes from my parents. I may even ride my bike there, which I've not done in ages.
Awesome. Dude, send a pic. Post it on the Battleline page.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
That's all for this week's Battleline Podcast, but we'll be back on Monday with more American Straight Talk, so make sure you're subscribed. And keep up with the show 24/7 on Facebook and Instagram at Battleline Podcast. Also on Twitter at Battleline Pod. As always, never quit.